Hey there! I'm super excited about today's project. We are going to be drawing the Titanic. Now, the Titanic is a very historic ship that was supposed to be unsinkable, yet it wasn't. My daughter, all growing up, was obsessed with the Titanic. She has all the books, the model, just wrote reports on it in school. She loves the Titanic. And I know that I have some other students that really love the Titanic as well and know lots of facts about it. So I thought, why not draw it today? So we are going to start with just a good old sheet of copy paper, and then we also are going to use, I'm going to use a Sharpie to draw so you can see what I'm doing. You are going to use a pencil so that way if there's any oopsies, we can erase. And then whatever you want to color with, crayons, markers, color pencils, you could turn it into a painting. If that's the case, make sure you paint on thicker paper or even a canvas. My paper is horizontal. That means that it's left and right. And we're going to do an I draw, you draw. So I will draw, you will draw. Okay, so we are going to start with the body of the ship. And it is almost a horizontal line. Now, the Titanic was huge. So I am going to try to make my line go all the way from one end to another. Now, if you want your lines to be perfect, you could go hunt down that ruler. But the cool thing about art is it doesn't need to be perfect. It can be your own special piece, right? Okay. The next part of the ship, with your pencil, you would do very, very softly. I can't do that because I have a Sharpie. But we're going to draw the bottom of the ship. And the reason why you want to do that very softly is so that way we could draw kind of some waves in here and you could erase part of that line if you wanted to. And then we're going to connect with a little bit of a diagonal, just like that. Next, for the end of the ship, we're going to do a curve in and then a curve back out to the bottom piece. Now we're going to draw another horizontal line that follows the angle of the first one. So it makes a real skinny section. And then the same thing here. Follow the edge just like that. Then we've got to draw the windows on the ships. So there we go. There we go. 4, 5. Since these are such small circles, you can just freehand them, but anytime I'm making a bigger circle, I find something round around the house and I trace that. That's a good trick for making great circles. Next, we're going to draw, a little bit of a diagonal and a little bit of a diagonal, just like that. And then we're going to connect those with a horizontal. And then we're going to go vertical, and I'm going to make this one a little bit taller. So vertical, vertical, horizontal to connect. Okay. Then on top of this, we're going to make the smokestacks. I'm not exactly sure what those are called. I shouldn't tell you that, I'm sure. But so they're not quite verticals. They're not quite straight up and down. They're a little bit angled. And there's 4 of them. So we have to be able to space them out. Maybe, that might work. You could make them about as wide as your finger. And so I'm going to start at this end and I'm going to do 1. Okay, they're a little bit diagonal on top. 2, 3, 4. 4. Now we have 4 of them, and if you can make them all about the same height, great. But again, it doesn't have to be perfect because this is your own version, right? Your own best version. Okay, now I am going to go, we're going to draw where the sail or the flag, I guess, would be. So we've got a little bit, it's just a little diagonal, and then curve to the base, curve to the top right there, and then we'll draw another one up here. So this one is going to be vertical, and then we're going to have a diagonal, diagonal, and then we're going to do a little wave, and connect. Okay. Now on this, we really need a bunch of windows, right? And so it's up to you, like how detailed you want to get it. You could make a whole bunch of rectangles, maybe 2 rows, or you could fit more rows. It was a very large ship, and part of it was very luxurious, right? Maybe some windows down here, and I'm just doing some little circles all the way across. Okay, so next we are going to, here we go. Whoop. Okay, now we might want to draw like some of the waves, maybe out here. Got like some icebergs kind of floating in the water, some little chunks of ice that they are venturing around. Okay, now if you did this with pencil, you would want to, there we go. If you did this with pencil, now would be a great time to put some Sharpie on it, right? If you want to, you don't have to. Only if you want to. This is your piece of art. So I'm going to grab a little supply from over here. And, all right. So now we've got to work on the rest of the Titanic, okay? So I am going to, I think I'm going to use some marker and some crayon on this project. So I'm going to go ahead and trace my waves. Now, if these kind of lines were too tricky, you could have always just done a wavy line all the way across, right? And then maybe we've got some more around here. We might even throw a little bit of purple, maybe, in there. Just to show just how cold that water was, right? Okay. And this could be the Titanic during the day. It could be at night. It's totally up to you what you're going for. Okay. So let's say we did it at night. We might want a big moon. So I'm going to do a C and then another C, just like that. Okay. And we'll talk about what else we want to add here in a minute. Now, I am going to do, I like to just get them all out on the table. We can put them back in the box later, right? So I'm going to do some gray and some black on the first layer of the boat. Can't imagine what kind of feeling they had when they first left versus the emotions that they were feeling once it hit the iceberg. Just be super terrifying. Nowadays, when something terrifying happens, usually we can get help pretty quick, which is pretty awesome, and we can thank technology for that, right? Okay. Now, the harder you push with your crayon, the more intense the color is going to be. Now, of course, you could do color pencil, and I even have some color pencils out just in case for some of the smaller details. Right in the circle, whoop, oh my. Okay, we'll just use a color pencil. Right in the circles, I might make it yellow like the lights are on in the rooms down below. Okay, same thing in all of these guys. Might color those in with yellow. Anytime we're coloring a really small space, you're best off using something that will make smaller lines, like colored pencils. There we go. Now, one thing I've learned about colored pencils though, if you wait till they get all the way dull, the wood from the pencil will scratch up your paper, and then when you go to color over it, it makes such a groove in your paper that it creates these lines. Now for this part, I'm going to do some yellow on here, just on the sides and the top, but I'm going to go back. I think I have like a macaroni and cheese crayon maybe. No, yellow orange. I was just trying to make a more fun name for it. Go back with some yellow orange on top and kind of color that in. And by doing this, let me show you up close. So see, I did yellow right on the edge and the top, and then by doing this, I go back with the orange, and there we go. Go back with the orange on top of that, and it creates a cool little layered effect. Maybe the tops, they could be gray, they could be black. It's whatever you want them to be. There we go. And then I am going to put some smoke coming out the top. There we go. And then a little bit of black in there, maybe. Kind of mix that in. All right. Now, our flags and the rest of the ship. Okay. This part of the ship was probably white, but I'm going to color it very softly with my gray crayon because I'm doing a night sky. So this would have not looked pure white at nighttime because there wasn't enough light in the air, right? Or in the sky to make it light up. Okay. Now for my... Oh yeah, I dropped my yellow. Okay, for my moon, I am going to color it in yellow, and I think I'm going to have to duck down here and pick up my yellow crayon off the floor. Okay, yep, there it is. Okay. Because what I want to do is I want to create kind of like a glow around my moon real softly. So I made a big old circle around my moon. You can kind of tell on there. Okay, there we go. So now, when I color the sky in, hopefully my glow will still show up. If not, I got a little backup plan in mind. Okay. So remember, you are your own special artist. You can tweak yours, change yours, make it your own. There's no wrong way about going about this. So it is totally up to you. Now, I am cheating and looking something up for you guys. Cheating, but it's a good cheating. Okay, so on here, my PE teacher at school would die. Okay, so on here, I am going to make a plus, just like that. And then I am going to make an X, just like that. And I am going to use the blue. Do I have a dark blue? Blue, okay. And I am going to leave a little space between the red and the blue. So there's a little white space in between. And I am making a triangle of blue in between all of these spots, but not touching the red with the blue. I'm making sure to leave like a little white border because I am trying to make Great Britain's flag, because that is where the Titanic was coming from. Okay, now let's see, I've got an indigo, I've got a blue, I've got a blue-green, I've got a beautiful, that one's just blue again. Okay, how about purple? Oh, here we go. Violet and blue-violet. Okay, so I'm going to use a little bit of all of these. I'm going to do the lightest on top because the water up towards the top would have been lighter-ish. Okay. And then I'll do little bits of this in here. I could even, so if I have the moon glowing, it might have been glowing about this area maybe. There we go. Okay, so I've got, you got to be careful. If you get your blue on your yellow or vice versa, it's going to look green. And I'm doing quick little dashes across the yellow, real quick ones. Okay, now let's see, what does beautiful look like? Oh, that's pretty. Put some of that in there. And notice that I'm trying to keep my color left, right, left, right, left, right. I'm not trying to color everywhere, like crazy coloring, that's what I mean. I am trying to color everywhere. How about some indigo? Indigo is going to be darker, bluish purple, so I'll put it down here by the icebergs. And I like how the marker creates some contrast. There we go. Okay, and then blue violet, I'll put some of that down here. Almost looks like indigo, just a little bit different. And then where's my regular blue? Here it is. We'll use some regular blue in any empty spots we have left. There we go. Okay, now on the iceberg, let's do maybe the blue violet, just a little bit of that on the icebergs, just real soft, kind of on the edges of our icebergs so that they're not just solid white. Okay, I am going to make this very bottom section be darker. Okay. Now all we have left is our sky. So our sky, if you wanted to again, we could pull a little bit, some white spots. Let me cover up these white spots. No white spots. Okay. So we could pull a little bit of black and purple, maybe indigo into the sky. And I know you're thinking, why would we do that? Night skies don't have those colors. But sometimes it's not fun just to do something all one color. Sometimes it's fun to blend colors, right? Now, I pushed really hard with that yellow earlier in hopes that if I could not color around my stars, that if I colored over them, they would still show up. And they kind of do. They do up close. They probably don't from your point of view. Here's what we have so far. Remember, at any time, come on, you can pause our video and get caught up and then hit play again or rewind. If you got a little confused or lost on something, just hit rewind. That's the nice thing about doing art on video versus art in person. You know, we got to find the positives, right? Sometimes it's hard to be positive, but we have to find the positives. Okay. Work our way around all this business. You could even kind of color on top of the blues and the purples if you want to, because they're still going to show through a little bit. So you could color on top of them if you want. So then it makes them look darker, but still we can see them. Okay. There we go. There. All right. So if you had Sharpied your Titanic, it's really going to help the lines just pop and stand out from all of this color, right? If you hadn't Sharpied them, you could still go back and Sharpie, or you could make your Sharpie lines thicker. Mine was borderline about to need to be tossed. It wasn't showing up super dark, so I could go over it again with another Sharpie so that it really stands out. I hope that you enjoyed doing this I Draw, You Draw Titanic. And if you're interested, you could Google some more facts about the Titanic and see about its interesting, start and all the possibility that it had. But, something came in its path and they weren't able to necessarily work around it. But you guys, when things come in your path, you have tools to be able to work around it and bypass it and try to make the best of it. So I enjoyed doing this project with you. Thanks for tuning in, and I cannot wait to do some more art.